And hi, everyone. Welcome to Tech Down Over. It's a Monday. It's a different day for us, but we're glad we could make it. I'm joined today by Harold Muliati. He's subbing for Jeff Blanchard, who couldn't make it. He works on Monday. Well, he usually comes on Saturdays. He's one day ahead of us.
Yeah, today is his Tuesday, actually.
It's his Tuesday. And, on Saturdays when he comes, he tells us all the lottery tickets ahead of time. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's insane.
Anyway, and we've got with us today Dave Altizer from Kinotika. He's joining us from Nashville right now, soon to be in the LA area. We've warned him. He comes anyway. Anyway, here we go. And we are back, and hey, there in the position of power, right in that center area, controlling it all. We've got Dave Altizer with us. How you doing, Dave?
Doing great, and very hot and muggy Nashville, Tennessee today.
Oh, you know what? We've been really hot and muggy out here, which is normally kind of dry. It's been 2.5 months of this. It's weird. We haven't figured it out yet. We broke all heat records this year. So an odd.
Yeah, I heard.
It's just really weird. Even by the beaches, and we're not far from the beaches, it's still hot. Of course, we can't complain. We're in the 80s, and we only hit it 100 once. But everybody else around us is in the hundreds or high 90s. So we're just bitching. That's all. That's all we're doing.
That's true.
So,
yeah, excited for fall.
So Dave, we have a question. We were all arguing today about what your show title is. What is Kinotika?
Very good question. Kinotika is not a word. It is not anything specific. It was a completely designed logo brand name that was designed because nobody else had the domain name. So,
that's funny. So here, okay, Harold, you were wrong. It's not a Greek word.
Yeah,
no meaning whatsoever.
I was saying it sounded like something that Ken Wheeler, who we have on sometimes, would understand.
All about Greek. Nice. He kept saying it was something about Greek cinema. I was going, Greek cinema? Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I think it originated from the word like Kino Flow. Like
Kino Flow, yep.
And then Tika, I don't know. So I didn't come up with the name myself. I actually am the host of Kinotika. I don't own the company.
Oh, okay.
A guy named Tim Levin, who lives in China, Hong Kong, actually employs me to be the host and the director and the creator of the show.
Interesting.
So I have full creative control. They buy all the equipment. They provide this amazing studio that I'm sitting in, and I just show up and do my job.
That's really cool.
Wow.
Kind of a YouTuber's dream, to just create and not worry about the money.
What part of China is he in?
He's in Hong Kong. I do not know exactly, but he is actually not too far from the DJI headquarters.
Interesting.
So he has a lot of buddies and friends that work at DJI.
I didn't know that. DJI is headquartered out of Hong Kong.
I believe so, yeah.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I'll look it up. They are headquartered in Shenzhen, China, which is inside of Hong Kong.
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. Did not know.
Yeah. So I'm excited to go over there sometime and meet him, but I've never met him face to face. We just FaceTime and talk on the phone.
I've been to Hong Kong once, and that was when I was just about 17 years old. I was 1 month ago, and I was 16. And I remember this is when Hong Kong only had 4 million people. I think it's got over 10 now. It was so crowded at 4 million, so I can only imagine what it's like now. But it was funny because I was about 6'2" then too, and
oh man,
I'm walking around and you see just heads bobbing up and down everywhere, and you could see there's a foreigner, there's another foreigner, and it was so obvious. Yeah. And then we were in Hong Kong side, and you're walking down all the stores, and I got this all the time. I sort of, I was with my parents at the time. It's kind of a weird place to be, but it was like, hey, sailor boy, you want good time?
Oh, no.
No. When you're almost 17, it's like, you're talking to me. Really?
Yeah, exactly.
So, but it was cool. It's a cool place.
Well, you see, now that they've got 10 million, you won't be visible above everyone because now they're going to be stacked too high.
That's true.
That's a good point.
Oh,
Definitely.
man. But it was nice
But,
down there. I enjoyed it. As a long
But yeah,
time
that's how the name came to be. It was created by my boss Tim, who is actually Russian and lives in China, who hired me, an American. So it's a funny kind of circle of lots of countries.
So that
involved.
makes you basically a CIA guy.
Yeah, exactly. Basically.
Russian, Chinese. Yeah. Oh, you got it done.
Yeah. But yeah, I could tell a story of how I got that job later if you want. But
that might be interesting.
Yeah.
I love something. You've been doing video. I think I heard on one of your podcasts for about 10 years.
That's right. Yeah, I started when I was 17. So I'm 28 now. So
hey, you're a youngster.
Yeah.
You're about Harold's age.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How old are you, Harold?
Yeah.
28.
I'm way older.
You know, I always forget how old I am. I think I'm 27 or something.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget. My wife has to tell me. But yeah, I didn't go to college. I kind of just started when I was 17 shooting weddings. A friend of mine was a wedding videographer, and it was right at 2008. That's right when the 5D Mark II came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we sold all of our old Sony camcorders and bought a 5D, and it kind of overnight changed the entire game. We were these, kids in Nashville filming weddings, and we were shooting footage that looked better than all the pros. And so
it's amazing.
we were really the only people in town that knew about this new technology. And so we really kind of on Pinterest was new at the time in 2008. Facebook was all kind of still new. And we were harnessing that and really took over the Nashville market. And I just, it didn't make sense for me to go to school because I was working so much shooting and editing weddings. And that's really where I cut my teeth.
And you probably wouldn't have learned that much more in school.
Yeah, exactly.
I hate to say it, but, most colleges are highly overrated. And you get out of college and you can't find a job anyway because you've majored in something like, I don't know, social justice warrior. Well, that was really going to get you a job doing that. I mean, what job are you going to get? Activist. This is not much for that. So you just go, yeah. And if you go to the school programs where they teach, cinematography and video, they tend to be more theoretical, not that much hands-on. And I don't know.
I do have a friend who just graduated from USC in your neck of the woods in the cinematography program. He said it was a good one.
It is a good one.
He said it was worth it.
Yep.
He met a lot of people, and he's working for NFL now, doing all their videos. So
that's a shame. That's great.
It worked well for him. Yeah, I know, right? But I don't know. That's just how I started, and I recommend a lot of people, unless you're going to NYU or USC, to definitely skip out. And even with those two options, unless you're going the traditional route of climbing the Hollywood ladder and doing the work of being a PA and being an assistant and for 20 years to get to the point where you're a producer or whatever, unless you're willing to do that, then I'd say go for it, especially now with the internet. I mean, here we are doing a live show.
Yeah. I mean, we've been streaming now for about 9 years. And when we first started, there wasn't much out there. There were some streamers, and we were trying to figure out what the heck we were doing. And we found Wirecast, and that made it pretty easy. And then we just said, you know what? This isn't hard. And we took the approach of, we're going to invite anybody and everybody that we find interesting. And we have invited people no one's ever heard of. We've invited some of the most famous guys in this and other industries. And for the most part, everybody says, sure, I'll come on. And you just go, and then you get some that, what's your reach? Reach? I don't know, 6-8 inches. I don't know. What do you want it to be? And they look at you like, oh, what? I mean, they get so jerky. It's like, what's your reach? Our reach is about what you were about 2 years ago when you weren't famous. And they go, oh. It's like a little arrogance on some guys. But most people are cool. They just go, no, well, come on. We'll have an interview. Let's talk about life. But I found out long ago, if you're afraid of asking people to come on, nobody will ever come on. And and we've got Sarah, who happens to be Harold's sister, that she probably scheduled you.
Okay.
She's great at getting people on. She's amazing.
She was. And I'm sorry that I had to change my schedule. I mean, it sounds like I messed you guys up. I'm sorry.
No, that happens. And it actually turned out okay because Jeff came on and had a horrific connection. We were having real problems with him on Friday. So, in other words, it worked out okay because I don't think we got him up and running until 3:20. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, it was bad. If we have a guest, then we just tell them we'll call you back, next show because we can't keep people waiting. But it was a bad connection. Something was going on between one of his streaming machines and the vMix call, and we couldn't get it to work. So, but no, like with you, it's working fine, and you don't have to deal with Skype or all the other issues. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So now you're a Canon guy. You've been a Canon guy. One of the videos I saw that you did was your review of the 6D Mark II, which I was watching, and at the end I was just giggling and laughing, going, "He said it! He actually said it! I love this guy."
The camera's trash.
Yeah, what a piece of junk.
I actually had some language in it, but I ended up cutting it out. But I thought it was maybe a little too much. But.
Yeah. Oh God, you should see what they're saying about John McCain on the YouTubes. I was laughing my head off on those too.
No.
Oh man, nasty. Understood, but nasty. I was going, oh man, they just reamed him one. But then again, there are people in this world who are responsible for a lot of dead people, and they're not great people. But your 6D Mark II I thought was right on. Because one, it was honest, and two, that's a camera I wanted. I really wanted to get another full frame by Canon, and I looked at the specs and went, "You're kidding! This is what why?"
It's exactly what we all expect Canon to do, though, right? Like that's exactly what, like with the 5D4 with their 4K mode, like there's a 2x crop basically. Like they had to ruin that, Yep. And then the 62 has nothing. Like the 80D, which is 3 years old, has better video features and some other better pro features than this
I know.
one. So
it's
you guys interviewed. What's his name? The white-haired guy with his wife. I'm blanking. Chelsea and Tony in Northtop.
Yes, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, Tony recently did a whole video on why the 62 is the best vlogging camera, and a lot of guys are coming around to saying that it is the best vlogging camera. But what's a vlog, anyways, right? Like, whatever.
Yeah. But no, I don't think it's the best vlogging camera. I mean, if you want to do 1080p and you want to always stay in the center of the frame, sure, okay, I'll give you that. But beyond that, it has a flip screen, but it has no other features that make it worthwhile.
Well, the thing that left a pretty big impression on me from your video was when you took some pictures that you took with the 6D and then some that you took with the 1DC. And you were showing, how they looked raw, and then how they looked when you sort of brightened the people up to make them more visible.
Yeah,
and the ones with the 6D, they looked like they had lint all over them because of all the noise.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like, I couldn't believe it. I think my iPhone has better dynamic range than that camera.
Oh, jeez.
Well, to their credit, the 1D series is definitely the flagship, right?
Well, yeah.
And even though the older 1DX is technically going to be better than the lower end new cameras, just because it's a flagship. But for the same price as a 6D Mark II, you can buy a used 5D Mark III, which is a much better camera than the 6D Mark II. And that's one point that I forgot to mention, really, and to really drive home with my review, is that for the same price, if you need to stay Canon and you need full frame, buy the 5D III. It's got better features. And
it was a great camera when it came out.
You could shoot raw video on it.
Yeah, which is sort of interesting. I had the 5DSR, which I got for probably the wrong reason, and I liked it. But now Harold's the proud owner of it now. I sold it to him.
I bought it.
Cool.
And he likes it. And he does it for portraits and stuff like that. But You know, it was basically a 5D Mark III with a bigger sensor and less video capabilities.
That one I think is 51.4 or something.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez. Why do you need that?
I actually use it because I'm a painter also, so like taking pictures of artwork, then you know, sometimes I like to take detail shots to get all the little brush strokes and stuff, and that kind of picks it up.
There you go.
He also likes having the biggest one among everybody.
Yeah. It is a very specific purpose, but you know, it's good for that.
But I tell you, you know, we joke about it sometimes, but I was there when he dropped it once by it fell off a tripod, and the floor got dented, and the Canon, not a scratch. It was amazing. That camera, nothing. It was beautiful.
I've had the same thing happen with my 1DC. I dropped it off of about a 6-foot drop with the lens on it. Totally fine. The lens broke, but the
lens broke.
Was fine. And like I think that's what I do love that about the DSLRs from Canon, especially the higher end ones. Like they are just so freaking rugged, and it's the same is true of the Nikons too. I'm just not a Nikon shooter, but the D5, D850 is similar.
Yep. Now speaking of Nikon, we must call it by its correct name now. Nikon.
Sure. And it's Nikon.
Now Nikon. They came out with their new mirrorless cameras 5 years too late, copying Sony almost 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you basically have the A7R3 and the A7 III in their respective lines. Same chips. They're using the same exact chips as Sony because they buy the chips from Sony. And yet, when I saw some of the reviews and the videos, the video didn't look all that great. The focus didn't look all that good. And I don't get it. No single card slot, no varying angle. Everything everybody complains about, they made sure to put in.
All right, so I have a theory here on the screen. This is a theory, and me and a friend of mine, Caleb Wojcik, he's a YouTuber. He turned me onto this theory. His theory and my theory now is that Canon owns the patent to the flip-out screen, and Panasonic licenses it from Canon.
That's funny. Theory. You know, that could be.
And Olympus, too. I guess they have flip-out screens.
Yeah, they have it, too. Cameras, but you never know. That could be.
Because, like, look at how Fuji had to get around that whole thing. Did you see that consumer camera, the Xt100, I think?
Yeah.
It's got this weird flip-out screen with that same vari-angle thing on it. So weird. I think that's a great example of, like, they're trying to get around that patent. You know what I mean? So,
that could be. It's an interesting idea.
Sony always does the flip-up. Whenever they do a flip up, it's a flip up or whatever.
Well, then again,
the A99 has a flip
Canon wins the prize for the most stupid flip there is, flip down. So you can't put it on a tripod, the M5. And you just go, I have the M5. And it's a really fun camera. But you can't mount it anywhere and actually look at the screen. It's I don't get it.
Pick up an M50. That camera got us a lot of views on our channel.
Which one?
The M50. The Canon M50.
You like that one?
The new mirrorless. We love it, it's a great budget camera for anybody starting out. It's got the great Canon color science, and it does have a 4K mode that is, if you know how to work around it, you can actually get some good footage out of it. It's a good look into the future of what Canon's mirrorless is going to look like. That Digic 8 processor that's inside of it is totally new. No other camera has it. So we're assuming that the next line will have it. It's capable of 4K. It's capable of 4K with dual pixel autofocus, but they disabled it on the M50 on purpose.
Right.
So that is a classic Canon move for sure. But I am holding out for the Canon mirrorless. We're hoping to see one at Photokina, which we will be going to later in September. So
that's cool.
We got the Nikon, we got the Canon, and then we're still waiting around for that Sony A7S III.
Do you think they need it anymore?
The A7S III?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they need to compete with Panasonic, especially.
Oh, with the 5...
And now even with
the GH5S?
Yeah, so the GH5S has this great 10-bit mode. It also can shoot 4K at 60 frames per second. And you've seen like how everybody went from the 5Ds to A7S,
Mm-hmm.
and now almost all the pro video guys are going to the GH5s.
I know, isn't it funny?
And yeah, because we're not. I definitely feel like I'm completely agnostic. Like I don't care. Like I am unbiased. I will just choose the best tool for the job. I do value, color and overall image quality, and that's why I do lean more towards Canon. But still, Sony needs to do 4K at 60 frames. They need to have a 10-bit option. But the problem is Sony has these cinema cameras that they also sell, and I think Canon and Sony are both kind of juxtaposed with, like, how do we balance selling our video cameras and selling these consumer-grade mirrorless cameras? Yeah. And I don't know. Panasonic just throws everything in there, though. They don't hold back.
They're amazing. Now, mind you, they left out the focus system, but hey, that happens.
Yeah, I think they were a little too late on that. They probably just didn't bet right on that.
Now,
it takes them two to 3 years to develop them.
I know, and the GH5S, from what I've been reading, has the best focus of all three of them, like the GH5 and the G9. I've got two GH5s, and we've got the G9. I love the G9. It's a great camera.
Yeah. I did a review on that. I love it.
Did you I got to look for that. I didn't see a review on that one. I'll look for it. It's an amazing photo camera, and it's a really good video camera. I'll make that a better blogging camera than the 6D Mark II. Totally.
I think it comes down to that focus for sure when it comes to the vlogs. That's what everybody hangs their hat on.
I know.
Is that focus. It needs to be good.
Yep. And that's where Canon still is beating everybody. I was watching some podcasts this weekend of how many people are saying my 1DX is better than the A7 III. And you go, interesting. And they just said it's more reliable. They trust it more. They said if I want to take fast pictures, I got 15 perfectly sharp pictures, whereas with the Sony, I get maybe 10 out of 15.
So I'm shooting right now. I'm shooting right now on an A7 III, and I feel like it's the best value camera right now. $2,000 for this full frame 4K capable camera. But the thing that just kills me about Sony is their freaking color science. It drives me up the wall. It's just like you can never get it right. Sometimes it's great, especially when you're outside. You got good lighting, good. But even now, like I'm having a hard time getting this set to look good and my skin to not look like a lizard. So I just don't know what their problem is. Somebody in the comments actually told me, and I don't know if this is true, but somebody in the comments said that Sony designs their sensors to fare better with yellow-skinned people, like Asians, and they don't favor whites, like Caucasian. Yeah, so I don't know if that makes so I want to make a video titled "Sony cameras are racist," but. I don't know if that's just because, like, a lot of Asians use Sony cameras. So I don't know.
Well,
is
probably because they've been around a long time and they're a huge consumer company. I mean, electronics company. So they're well known, and it's usually pretty good bang for the buck. Everybody feels you get a lot of stuff. Panasonic should beat everybody. Right? Bang for the buck. Nobody beats them in terms of what they give you. Forget the focus system. They forgot that. But once they get it, nobody will beat it.
It's true. And the GH5S is one of my favorite cameras right now for sure, without a doubt.
Have you color with
on that? We did a bunch of videos on the S compared to the 5, and then just an overall video on the S. I like the S better because it's a larger sensor. You have better color science, and you obviously get the great low light.
So it is different color from the GH5.
Yeah, it's a completely different sensor. It's actually designed by Sony, ironically enough, and the Blackmagic Pocket cinema camera is using the same sensor, the new 4K cinema camera that's coming out. Apparently it's coming out in September. That's what they told us at NAB. I doubt that will happen. It'll probably be December, if not next NAB, before we ever see it, if you remember Blackmagic's track record. So we will see. But yeah.
Now,
it's
the problem with the
Blackmagic, really like
now the problem with the Blackmagic cameras, they're ugly as sin. So all the cool factor goes away when you use them. It's just like, what's that ugly box you've got? That's a Blackmagic camera.
If I had the money, I would shoot all Leica, right? I mean, these things are the most beautiful jewelry type cameras in the world. This is a 1964 Leica M3. My great uncle gave it to me. He took photos of my dad and his brother and sister. and it's kind of a family heirloom. And he paid $3,000 for this in the '60s.
Wow.
So that's a lot of money.
You know, the new Leica is what, $8,000?
Yeah.
$8,000. Was it M10 or something? I forgot the number.
The M10P, which is kind of the more sexy version of it. But yeah, they call them dentist cameras, right? So it's like the only people that can afford them are dentists, and then they put them on the wall. They never even use them.
That's funny. But they are cool. They are nice. And, you know, a lot of people say, what kind of lenses do you have on the Panasonic? And I said, I have quite a few, but there's one that I really like, and that's the Leica Panasonic Nocticron, the 42.5 millimeter.
Gosh.
That lens is as good as any Zeiss I've ever owned. It's amazing. It's just, it was a $1,500 lens that was on sale for $500 off when we went to Sammy's over here in LA. And you just go, wow, it's a great lens. It's a great lens.
And you would never know that's a Micro Four Thirds
no, you wouldn't.
camera.
No, you
when
wouldn't.
You look
it's
at
amazing.
The images. Yeah.
Yep. No, that's true.
So, and it's so much smaller. That's what I love about the Micro Four Thirds system is how small the lenses are. It just balances so nicely in your hand.
Yeah.
When you hold it.
Hey, we've got some comments here on our YouTube stream. Let's see. We've got Alberto9324 saying, "What about the Fuji Xt3?"
I'm laughing because Alberto is like the biggest fanboy of Kinotika. He comments on everything. He's first on the stream. He's first to comment. So we love you, Alberto. Thank you for tuning in here. Welcome, Alberto. He's a great friend on YouTube. What about the Fuji Xt3? Well, a rumor just came out today that it's supposed to come out before Photokina. Did you see that on Fuji Rumors? I saw that on the news today.
They were talking about that. Now, I have the Xt2. And I'm probably one of the few that really pretty much hate it. I wasn't impressed. The color science is good. I think they're next to Canon. They're either equal or better. They're amazing at color science too. The skin tones are beautiful, and the color quality on the whole of the Xt2 shots and video look really good. Video, it's okay. It was not as good as everybody thought it would be. It was okay. It's I don't know, one of the cameras we had two. We sold one, and the other one broke all by itself, doing nothing. It just the electronics never worked well on it. So I'm underwhelmed. The lenses were nice, very good lenses. They were quiet. They shot good video, but as a camera, I guess I don't like really that kind of rangefinder thing where you have all your controls on top. And because to me, if you're in a dark place, you can't read it. And my other complaint is, I'm a little older. I have a hard time reading the fonts when they're like 4 points. It's like, man, I can't read that. So, and on their menu, everything was uppercase, which again made it hard to read. So, I just wasn't impressed. It was okay. Not my favorite.
I know there's a lot of fanboys out there of Fuji. A good friend of mine, Lee from Z Pro Media. He's a YouTuber. He's a big Fuji shooter, and I talk to him regularly. And he says the Fuji fans are quite brutal. So if you make a review and bash it, they're gonna chew you out for it. But,
sorry, guys.
But I don't know.
My opinion. Yeah.
No. I feel like I'm kind of with you though, because I don't know. I feel like there's just so many great players in the game right now. And even Nikon, I know that it's kind of lackluster what they're doing, but I still feel like they have so much more money. They could probably beat even Fuji with their. But
they don't have more money. No, they don't. If you remember, about a year and a half ago, they filed a statement of financial disaster. Basically, it was called something like that in Japan. They're broke.
Oh wow.
They're not doing well at all. They can't even deliver on the D850. They're backordered everywhere. They can't produce them. So how are they going to produce a mirrorless when they can't even produce their flagship DSLR? I don't know.
I guess all their money's on the. I guess all their cards are on the table. Or all their chips are on the table now.
It's a scary one for them. We invested in Nikon about 3-4 years ago, and I got nervous with it. I liked it, but I didn't like it as much as Canon. And I had a D750. I love the D750. That was a great camera.
Oh yeah, that's popular. Very popular.
Yeah, I had the Tamron lenses on it and a couple of Nikons, which I didn't like that much. It was slower than Canon, some of them. And the D750 shot gorgeous pictures. But I didn't want to get into the ecosystem, so we kind of got out of it real quickly. And I'm still pretty much not stuck. I actually enjoy my Canons and my Panasonics. Those are the two main ones we have. And we even have like...
So do you... I was just going to say, do you shoot stills on your Panasonics?
I do, sometimes, yeah. Yeah. The G9, we took to Hawaii earlier this year. We took a lot of pictures. We took about 700 pictures. I was shocked by the quality of the camera, and it was actually very, very good. And the color science on that was not that bad. Again, pretty good skin tones. It was good.
Yeah, the G9. That's one of the things that I found on our review is that it looked better than the GH5 in my opinion with the colors.
Yep. So the GH5s, I'm surprised they haven't done a firmware update yet to kind of fix it better on the colors. And I still don't think that the last GH5 update, the version 2 of the firmware, fixed totally the focus issue. It got better, but it's not 100%. If you have the camera just filming and you cut in front of it, it won't even know what you are until you tap it. Oh, human? Oh, right, sure, okay. It doesn't do it. You still come out blurry when you finish looking at it afterwards. You go, well, that was pretty blurry. Oh well. And if they could just fix that, they'd be perfect.
I think we're so close to that perfect camera, right? Like all we need is a GH5 with good focus. All we need is an A7 III with good colors and a flip-out screen. All we need is a 6D Mark II that shoots 4K. I think in the next 3 years we'll finally get it, and then by that point, I don't know. What are we going to complain about once we get all that?
The screw mount underneath for the tripod. That's got to go.
Yeah. Well, you know what annoys me about the Panasonics actually with that topic? Have you ever used their battery grip?
Yeah.
On the Panasonic?
And it's on the side.
They have this. It's on the wrong side. It's
Yeah.
off center.
Yeah. It's bizarre. We were talking about that just the other day. Why would they do this? And we think it's because the screw goes in too deep, and the battery, they only use one. I wish they had two in there. And so they go on the other side of where the battery is, or it would hit it.
Okay.
That's all I could think of.
That doesn't make any sense, though. Everybody else does it.
Yeah.
The right way.
Because we were talking about, you know, how it seems to kind of line up with how Panasonic, you know, they've just got the one battery goes into the grip itself, and the one of them is in the camera. So it's you know, different from how like Canon or whatever has just a battery sled, where that way it makes it really easy to change them out. So I guess they're for whatever reason, Panasonic needs that space for the tripod screw to go into, and the other companies don't. So we're not sure.
I think while we're on that battery grip topic, that super exciting battery grip topic, the Fuji Xt3 and the XH1, they've done a great thing with their grip, right? They added the headphone jack, they added an AC power on there. It also boosts the performance up. I wish people would integrate that into the battery grip technology.
Well, that's what Nikon did. On one of those cameras, you need the battery grip in order to get more film time.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't talk about that much, but that's one of the things that I read. I was going, why?
On the Z series?
Yeah, one of those.
Oh, right. Oh, wow.
And so they copied Fuji. So, great.
Yeah.
See, I thought that was sort of a pain. Why do you have to have a battery grip when Panasonic can do it right in camera? Nobody's figured that one out. Panasonic does everything in camera.
We got to remember Panasonic has a sensor that's a quarter the size as everybody else too.
True.
So it takes less processing to do all that. That's why if you look at like the GH4 and when that came out at the time, they were doing 4K in camera.
Yeah.
For that price point, it was just impossible at a full frame sensor at the time with the technology. But because that sensor was so small, they were able to do it. So I think Panasonic's pretty much, if they stay in the Micro Four Thirds system, which I think they will, they're always going to be ahead technologically because their sensor is so small.
Well, where they're making a ton of money also on the Micro Four Thirds sensors, embedded devices. All sorts of specialized cameras, spectrometers, they're using those sensors because they're small and they can take really detailed shots of very small things. So
okay. Yeah.
they're really interesting. They're using it to paint ships in flying drones and things like that. It's fascinating.
Really? Yeah, so it's more
That's
of like
cool.
a technical kind of instruments component.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and speaking of Panasonic, we've got another comment from Alberto. He says, Lumix G7 opinions?
It's a
Again,
good little camera.
Can I preface this comment by Alberto? Like I said, he's another big fan. There's a running joke on our channel, and even on my Twitter account, pretty much every day, he asks me, when are you going to review the best camera of all time, the Lumix G7? Every single day, he asks me to do a review on the G7. I say, no, Alberto, that camera is so old, I'm not going to review it. So I think we're finally going to do it, but I am not surprised that Alberto asked us about the Lumix G7.
Yeah.
It's quite hilarious. But let's talk about it, right? It's, what is it, like $300 you could buy one now, probably?
Oh gosh, that low? Whew.
Yeah. It's a 4K capable camera with a clean HDMI out. It's a great live stream camera if you just want to get a 4K camera for live streaming or something.
Yeah. It's got a very angle screen.
Yeah, it's got a vlog screen, right?
Yeah.
You can what else can you do? You can put a speed booster on it.
Yep. It's amazing. I mean, I gave one of those as a gift to my son-in-law, and it was like $549 with the kit lens.
Oh, wow.
I was going, really? It's probably crappy, but I did it anyway. And he comes back. He went to Montana and took some gorgeous pictures with that. I was going,
wow. Nice.
That was the G7? He goes, yeah, it's amazing. He came back with over 500 pictures on one battery.
Dang. That's amazing.
We were just shocked. That little thing took some really good pictures. So,
Alberto's right. It's a good camera.
Alberto's right. Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But I sold my 1DC. It's gone. I've been shooting on that for 2 years now.
What made you sell it?
Well, first off, I kind of stumbled into this YouTube thing to begin with. I've been a director and a cinematographer for the last 5 years, freelance, and that was a camera that I had bought from the budget of a production that I did in Mexico. They wanted me to take pictures and they wanted me to record in a 4K format, and I was going to be sweating and like in the forest, like in the woods in Mexico, and I wanted something that would be weatherproof, weather sealed. And at the time, I could either choose Sony or Canon, and I definitely went with Canon because the first A7S was like, or the A7S II, I just was not a fan of the colors and stuff. So I got it used for like $4,000, the 1DC, which I don't know if you know, but like 6 years ago it was like $15,000 when it first came out.
Yeah, wow.
And and I loved it because it was just a great stills camera, full frame, 1D series, so it's just top of the line. And then the 4K files, even though they were massive motion JPEG files, I mean, we're talking like 45 minutes on 128 gigs, I think, maximum.
Yeah.
So I would burn through those pretty quick, but I would always just convert them to ProRes anyways. It'd save about a third of that space, and it was no big deal. And I really loved the image off of it. It was just super beautiful image quality. And when the 1DX Mark II came out and everybody started shooting on that, I couldn't upgrade to that because there were so many things about the 1DX2 that were worse than the 1DC. There's no log, so you can't color correct it with a log format. So the 1DC has log.
But you can hack it. I thought you could hack it and get the vlog or the log, Canon log.
Yeah, you could install like a third-party plugin or like a CineStyle or like James Miller has one. But they're not. It's still not the real deal. It's a true log is straight off the sensor from the manufacturer, so it's not perfect. And then I used this. There's a Super 35 mode on the 1DC that I used all the time. So I would use crop sensor lenses, and I could shoot Super 35. And in that mode, it was a 1:1 pixel crop on the sensor, so it was super sharp. And I've shot with C100s and C300s, and it cuts beautifully with all those cameras. So
Okay.
a lot of my friends, a lot of people I work with in the industry, they all shoot on those, the C300. And so it was just a great camera for all that stuff. And there's no record limit either on the 1DC. And I would basically have to spend like $6,000 to get a 1DX2, and I only paid $4,000 for the 1DC, and it's a better camera in a lot of ways. So, anyways, I became a YouTuber, 2 years ago, not even about a year and a half ago, and that was just the camera I had, and it was a terrible camera for YouTube because there's no autofocus whatsoever.
Oh, really?
None at all.
None.
No dual pixel autofocus didn't even exist when the camera came out.
Okay.
And freaking Canon didn't put focus peaking on it because they're stupid. It's a cinema camera. It has the red C on it, and there's no focus peaking. So I always had to use a monitor, and thankfully I do have a shooter who works with me here at Kinotika, so he was able to operate and make sure the focus was good and stuff. But it was just not the right camera, and so I finally sold it, and I bought the A7 III. I'm okay for now. I'm kind of thinking that if Canon's mirrorless full frame doesn't cut it, then I will go ahead and just go to the 1DX2 for me. But I don't know. It's the 1DX2 already is like 3 years old.
It's getting old. Yeah, it's I don't know. Now there are rumors that the 7D Mark III is going to come out or be announced soon too. So maybe that'll come out in Photokina. Who knows? Because that's another prime candidate for getting 4K. I had a 7D Mark II, and that thing shot beautifully, especially sports or action and stuff. It was amazing. 15 shots, everything was perfectly in focus. Yeah,
that's due for an upgrade. My first camera was the 7D, the first one that I owned personally.
Yep. Yeah, so. It's interesting. Canon, well, like, what did somebody say? Canon makes the absolute best cameras from 5 years ago.
It's so true. It's so true.
They perfected the past. What can you say?
It's true. It's that color, man. There's some sort of mojo with their color. It's just like straight off the camera. You don't have to do anything, and it just looks great.
No, it's amazing. And no matter what, whether it's a cheap Canon or an expensive one, they all look as good.
Yeah.
That's the
There's
amazing
something going
part.
on there.
Yeah, in that case, they didn't cheap out. Like if you buy some sort of TI, you go, you get the rat color. You bought, something bigger, you get good color. But no, they didn't do that. The one thing they did right.
That's true.
So anyway, well, Dave, we are way over time, but what the heck, it happens.
Oh,
sorry. We can talk forever. So. But I know people probably want to go home soon. So anyway, hey, it's been a real pleasure having you on, and hope we can get you on again. Keep the talking going.
Please do. How about when I go to Photokina, we could do a live show at Photokina.
Sounds great.
We have good internet.
That sounds actually a lot of fun. And then when you come out here, give us a call. We'd love to meet you down there and just say hi.
Yeah. Be there in October.
We'll give you a homecoming.
Sounds good.
Yeah, it'll
Thanks
be
for
fun.
having me, Rick.
Yeah, we'll buy you some weapons and keep you safe from all the crazy people.
Yeah. I'm going to do that for sure.
Anyway, well, hey, Dave, again, a pleasure. And Dave's YouTube channel is Kinotika. So go take a look at Kinotika. And I guess you'll be on a new YouTube channel soon, right?
Yeah, I can't speak about it, but the reason that I am moving to California is because I got another job. I will still continue doing Kinotika.
Cool.
But you will be seeing more from me soon. You can follow me on Twitter at Dave Altizer.
When are you moving?
October 23rd.
Oh, cool. That's not that far from now. That's a good time to move. It'll be nice and cool out here.
My parents, who are first-time grandparents, are thrilled that we're moving away from them.
Moving away? Oh, they're probably not, are they?
No, they're not. They're not happy at all. My mom is very sad that her grandson is leaving. But
our daughter, who's 28, and she has 2 kids, almost 4 and 1.5.
Wow.
And they moved to Boise, Idaho recently. And I was like, my wife was really, they got tired of California. They said, we're out of here. It's like,
wow.
Okay, happens.
Well, you raise children to become adults, right?
Yep, that's true. Yeah. Or is that adults? ADOLTS? I'm not sure. Anyway. Anyway, well, hey, Dave, a pleasure. Harold, we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. He's just over here next to me. Yeah. And we'll see you guys in the chat room. And Alberto, thanks for joining the show today.
Thank you, Alberto.
And we'll see you guys next time. Have a good one, everyone. Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye-bye.